Everyone, welcome back to Hair Coloring Theory. This is part 3. In part 1 and 2, we focused on permanent hair color and working on virgin hair. We talked about the level system, the RPC, the remaining pigment contribution. We talked about the color wheel, different peroxide levels, and all the 5 basic series that you'll find in any color company, okay? And then in part 2, we brought those all together to create color formulas to help you understand how choosing the right color will give you the best end result. Okay, so all of that in part 1, all of that information allowed you to take some hair color, mix it with the appropriate peroxide level, and be able to apply that to virgin hair that has never been colored before, all in one step. And so that was called a single process tint, okay? So single process tint, okay? So that was everything in one step. So you would combine the color, the peroxide, apply it to the hair, leave it on for the allotted time, and wash it off. And in the end, you would have the color result that you were looking for, okay? So today we're going to talk about something different. So single process tint that happens all in one step. Today we're going to talk about double process tint. So if in a single process tint everything happens in one step, a double process tint means things are happening but in 2 steps. Okay? So with hair color, so when you're using a tube of hair color, permanent hair color has a built-in timer in it, okay? So what that means is that it only has a certain amount of time that you can get it onto the hair and for it to process to work. And you could leave it on for hours and hours, but after a certain amount of time, usually about 40-45 minutes, it stops working, okay? And so it's kind of safe, let's say. Okay, so you can apply color to your hair, walk around, do laundry, this, that, and if you happen to go beyond the 40-45 minutes, 60 minutes, you know that nothing bad's going to happen to your hair, potentially. Now, in a double process tint, we are using a product called bleach, okay? So it's not the kind of bleach that you would use in your laundry. So I've got some powdered hair bleach here. Okay, so this is a powder in here. And the bleach is mixed with the peroxide in order to lighten the hair. Now, bleach is a completely different product from hair color. Oops. All right, from hair color. Where hair color has a built-in timer in it and it only works to a certain point, bleach does not. Bleach is a product that needs to be watched. Bleach is a product that will just go in and take away all of the color pigment until, if you're not watching properly, it will completely melt your hair and disintegrate it, okay? So bleach is a very different product from hair color and definitely is a lot harsher than hair color is, all right? So in a double process tint, the first step, so we're focusing on a double process tint, the first step in a double process tint is lightening the hair. Okay, so you apply bleach with the appropriate peroxide. It starts to lift through the different levels depending on where you're starting and depending on how far you want to lighten or how high you want to lighten. While you're watching the product. So you have to keep opening and checking if you're doing foils, if you're doing freehand balayage, whatever it is, okay? So the first step is to lighten. Now, if we go back to the color theory that we talked about and really focus on the RPC chart, we know that the darker your hair is, the more red pigment you have. And as you are lightening through the level system, through the RPC, through the lightening process, you're going pretty much dark reds to oranges to light oranges, which is like a gold, to yellows, and then finally to the level 10 where you're a pale yellow, okay? So you have to still keep in mind all of that color theory, because if you're lightening only 4 or 5 levels lighter, you want to know where in that RPC range you are so that you know what to look for as you're lightening. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And hopefully as we go on, you will understand what I'm talking about. So the first step in a double process tint is to lighten, pre-lighten. You're pre-lightening, you're lightening, whatever you want to call it. The second step would be toning. Okay, we're not toning the biceps, we're toning the hair color. So as you're lightening through the level system, paying attention to the RPC chart and what's there, we have to know what we're going to be left with in order to know how to tone that hair. And that's where this is the step where all of your color theory and completing those first formulas that you completed will come in handy. Okay, so I want to go back to talking about peroxide. So last week we talked about some of the basic peroxide levels. So 10 volume peroxide, we said deposits color, right? 20 volume peroxide helps to lift color 1 level. 30 volume lifts 2 levels. 40 volume lifts 3 levels. That's when we are talking about using it alongside color, hair color. Now we're going to be mixing it with bleach. So where regular color can lift you and tone you at the same time, 3-4 levels, bleach can go above and beyond that. So when you are lightening hair above 4 levels and higher, you would use bleach. So if you have a look at my hair, and I started with a level 5, I got up to, some of it's 8, some of it's 9. I had to use bleach to do that. Okay, so how did I do that? So with bleach, I'm going to move this over here. With bleach, we start at 20 volume plus bleach. Okay, 20 volume plus bleach will give us for sure 4 levels of lift. Now, something about bleach, I told you already, is that it just keeps going and going. So can 20 volume, I forgot the L there, can 20 volume lift more than 4 levels? Absolutely, it can. You just have to keep watching it. It will take a long process to do that, but 100% 20 volume would be kinder to the hair, but would take longer. You'd probably have to reapply to keep the hair moist with the product, okay? But 20 volume can lift more than 4 levels, but for the sake of doing these formulas, 20 volume would take a long time to continue to keep lifting, okay? 30 volume plus bleach will give us 5 levels of lift. Okay, there's the 30 volume plus bleach will give us 5 levels of lift, and 40 volume plus bleach will give you 6. 6 levels of lift. Okay, now again, 30 volume plus bleach will give you more than 5, 40 volume plus bleach will give you more than 6, absolutely. But as we increase the volume, we are increasing the risk of damage to the hair, okay? So we want to remember when our clients come in to make sure that we're doing the proper analysis. We are checking for porosity. What is their porosity like? If they have poor porosity and overly bleached hair to begin with, you would never, ever add more to that because it will melt and disintegrate the hair. Okay, we have to pay attention to the elasticity. So is the hair able to stretch and return without breaking? The better the elasticity, the more it can handle. We're looking at the texture of the hair, and we are looking at the density. So if a client comes in and they have super, super fine hair, you would never apply 40 volume to that. Maybe not even 30. It would melt the hair super fast. So we have to make sure that we're paying attention to those 4 areas of hair analysis, okay? But for formula's sake, we are using 20 plus bleach, 30 plus bleach, and 40 plus bleach to just indicate that we understand how many levels of lift, okay? So how does that work now in a double process formula? So now that you've completed a single process formula, let's have a look at what it looks like for a double process formula. So let me give you an example. So again, NL equals the natural level, and the DL equals their desired level. So what level do they want to be? Okay. So for the sake of this formula, we are going to start with a natural level 5, desired level 9, with no warm tones. Okay. So once you realize that you are lifting the hair more than 3 levels, we automatically know that we are doing a double process tint. This is no longer a single process tint, okay? So formula equals, and we're gonna indicate step 1 by putting the number 1 there, okay? So step 1, so we know they're going 4 levels lighter, 5 is a medium brown, 9 is a light blonde. Okay, so that's how we know they're going lighter. And we know they're going lighter by 4 levels because 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, or 9 minus 5 is 4. So 4 levels of lift. We have to choose the right peroxide and bleach combination. So in this case, 4 levels of lift, we can safely get there with bleach plus 20 volume peroxide. So I'm going to write that down. Step number 1 is 20 volume plus bleach. So what do? I grab my tint bowl, my tint brush. I use the appropriate amount of bleach into there. I also grab my 20 volume peroxide and mix the correct ratio with that into there. I mix that up and I apply that whether I'm doing highlights or whatever it is that I'm doing. So I use that to lift the hair, okay? As I'm watching it, so I'm gonna say foils, so maybe it's a balayage and it's foils and I'm paying attention to it, or just basic highlights. I'm opening my foils to check every few minutes to see where is it at, okay? So remember, in the RPC chart, how dark hair, so this is level 5, it's fairly dark, it's medium brown, has a lot of orangey, gold, red tones, right, that are gonna pop up between the 5 and the 9. So if I open that package and it looks bright orange, I know I'm still in and around a level 5 or 6. It's just only starting to lighten, okay? If I check back a few minutes later and now it looks like a lighter orange, I know I'm somewhere near a 7, all right? Check back a little later still, and I see very, very light hint of orange, and now I'm seeing some bright yellow, gold tones coming through. All right, I'm at about an 8. So my goal is to look for a yellow tone, because I know on my RPC chart, yellow will give me that indicator that I'm at a level 9, okay? And that's what they want to be. They want to be a level 9. Now, once I get to that tone and I see and I'm like, okay, it's yellow. How pale, we don't know yet. How pale depends on what the client wants, but the client doesn't want any warm tone. So the lighter the yellow, the better. But again, you want to make sure you're not getting all the way to a 10. So a little bit of yellow will tell you you've hit the level 9 mark and you can wash the hair. So you wash the hair and now the hair has this ugly yellow tone to it. And that's where step 2 comes in. So you wash the hair, take all the bleach off of it, shampoo, no conditioner, and you apply step 2. Step 2 is just like doing a formula for a single process tint, okay? So it's already lightened to a 9. To tone the hair, we are staying at that same level. We're just gonna apply the right tones to it to correct that yellowness, okay? So what peroxide would I use if I'm already at a 9 and I wanna be a 9? You would use the level 10 peroxide, okay? Because you're staying within the same, you're just gonna be depositing some color. So 10 volume peroxide plus, they wanna be a 9 with no warm tones. We know through that process, we exposed some yellows, some golds, a little bit of orange, that kind of thing, right? So we need a color in the 9 series that can eliminate oranges and yellows, okay? So if you remember, blue eliminates orange, and the series that has blue in it is the ash series. So I'm going to apply the 9A to it. Now we still have yellow to deal with. No warm tones means no warm tones. So what would I use on the color wheel? What eliminates yellow? Violet. So I would use the series that contains the violet in it, which is the CCV. I would mix all of that into my new clean bowl. So I've got the bowl, the brush, I've got the 10 volume peroxide, I've got my 9A, and my CCV. Okay, I mix that into the bowl, mix, 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 apply to the hair, let it sit, and all of that is toned, and that is the second step. So first step is pre-lightening, second step is toning. Okay, let's try one more example. So I'm gonna put this down. Example number 2, I'll put it over here. Natural level 2, let's start at a 2. Desired level 6, but in this case, they want to be a redhead, like a ginger, okay? With red tones. So, formula equals. Right off the bat again, oops, let's turn that so you can see. Right off the bat again, we know that we are lightening because 2 is a very, very dark brown color, and a 6 is just one shade lighter than medium brown. So we know we are going, again, we are going 4 levels lighter. What peroxide and bleach mix gives us 4 levels of lift? That would be 20 volume and bleach again. So your formula, step 1 is 20 volume plus bleach. I'm just going to use the letter B. I put that all into a bowl, mix it up, apply it, let's say as highlights or all over her head. If she has short hair, long hair, and bleach would take forever. Rinse that off once it's reached the level 6, so it's lightened up to a level 6. And on the RPC chart, if you have that handy, a level 6 contains a lot of orangey gold tones. Okay, so step 2, again, will require you to use the information you learned from a single process tint. So if you've got orangey gold tones that you're dealing with, and they want to be orangey red, what color series would you be using? What peroxide would you be using? You're already lifted to a 6, so again, you're going to use your 10 volume peroxide. And the series that will give you some added red tones is the red series, which is indicated by the letter R. Apply that to the hair, and now they are no longer a dark, dark brown. They are now a medium ginger. Okay. First step is pre-lightening. Second step is toning. I'll have another formula worksheet on the Google Classroom for you to try. Please message me on the Google Classroom if you have any questions. I've helped a few of you out. I'm pretty excited about how you're taking this in. A lot of you are really getting it, so that's awesome. All right, ask away and enjoy.